Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy, and this is another travel day for us. We are headed home shortly after I complete this podcast. So drop the car off, head to the airport, or head to the airport, drop off the car. Yeah, it works like that. How do you like my new hat? I like that. Smashville. We had a good time at a Nashville Predators game against Boston Bruins. They won 6-3. That was just a really good time on Friday night. And the best time of all, though, was the time spent with this little baby girl, 4 months old. I guess I'm sorry. I know most of you don't care about my one and only grandkid, but I've just been bursting, and it's been such a blessing. She's just the most cutest, most beautiful little girl. It's been a really, really good trip. Really good trip. Got to spend time with my daughter and my son-in-law. Really, really good guy. And we had some good conversations. My daughter's a conservative, but that doesn't mean she always agrees with me. And as far as younger people go, when it comes to things like the conservative politics, and in that late 20s, early 30s, she's 32 now, age range, I like to be able to pick her brain a little bit, to see just what she thinks, and what others her age, because she has a really incredibly wide network of friends. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Now, she said she has friends that are similar, because I always joke with her that she seems to go to like 5 to 10 weddings a year, and has for the last 10 years. It's like insane. She's been to more weddings in probably 2 years than I have been to weddings in my entire life, and then including my own. And that makes the number bigger. But so I love to pick her brain about some things, and see where she's at, and just because I'm always looking to take more information in. That's where I think we just don't see that much. We get so entrenched in what we think and what we believe, that we're not open to new information. I'm always try to be open to new information that I think is legitimate, or a legitimate point of view, and see how it meshes, see if it changes. And I'm okay with not people that flip flop all the time, but certainly people that are willing to say, I was wrong on this, and this is really, with this information, this is really the right answer. And it's not an exact science, because science is not exact, although they'd like you to believe that. It's always being challenged, it's always being questioned. And so that's the whole part about evolving, right? That we need to remember, that we need to do. So some things I've been thinking about, this weekend. I grew up in my 20s. I'm not sure how old I was, but I caught Rush Limbaugh very early in his career. Not when he was in San Diego, but when he first became national. I came across Rush Limbaugh probably in in his first national year, and just fell in love later with radio because of Rush Limbaugh. I absolutely loved Rush Limbaugh, and I liked how he was just forward and real, and just put things out there. And honestly, he said, when did I make my first million? I was in my 20s. I was in my 20s when I did that. Later 20s, because I went through a big period of struggle in the financial business. So yeah, it was in my early 20s, not early 20s, like later 20s, when I finally got my shit together, and then started putting the business together that grew into a business worth $3.5-4 million before that all ended. So yeah, good question. Thanks. And that's what I believe. I put this on my, I'll digress here for a second. I put this on, maybe it might have been my TikTok, that I put a new little line in the bio that is life at the bottom of the 1%, because I think it's funny, and it's funny because it's true, and it's just a different viewpoint, and it's also something that I believe that many people can get to if they want to, if they want to put things together, if that's a desire of theirs, that they can find a way to get there. Something most people can do. What most people can't do is get to the top of the 1%. That's why there's so few of those guys. It's just very, very difficult. But the gap, you wouldn't think so, but the gap between the bottom of the 99% and the bottom of the 1% isn't as great as the gap between the bottom of the 1% and the top of the 1%. That gap is like huge. And I really didn't understand it until, I got there a second time, and it really kind of hit me. So just thought I'd throw that out there with that. So going back to Rush Limbaugh, I really loved Rush Limbaugh. I don't know how many of you out there, remember Rush or listen to Rush. There was a period of time when, that maybe I wasn't listening every day for a few years, but I did, especially early on, for great number of years, and then probably the last 4 or 5 as well. That strongly listened to that. And Rush had some great pearls of wisdom, some really great messages. And so I kind of went back to that, thinking about that this weekend, and what would Rush think of this war? And after I started thinking about it, about what Rush believed about our military and about war, and then I'm thinking about what is actually happening right now, a little light bulb went on, because there's somebody else that really had great respect for Rush Limbaugh, a lot of respect for Rush Limbaugh, so much that, he gave him a medal right before Rush died, and that was President Donald Trump. Donald Trump had great respect for it because Rush didn't have many guests. That was not his thing. He was the star of the show. He very rarely had guests. It just wasn't his thing. But one of the guests that he did have more than once was President Donald Trump. And so I think Trump, has obviously, many people think, and I do too, has been influenced sometimes by different media members. Right? Well, definitely influenced. I believe that he was influenced by Donald Trump. And in that, so what did Rush really believe about war? Rush believed that the military should be like powerful, and that the way to peace was through strength. Really, the Reagan doctrine. Rush liked was a Reagan Republican. I was a Reagan Republican. We believed in that peace through strength, and that you accumulated things like as they did, and hoping you not use it, getting those nuclear weapons, and we had that nuclear arms race, but then hoping that you didn't have to use it. But you can only do that through strength. But here's the thing: every once in a while, you have to remind people of who you are. And we've done a poor job of that in this country over really every president since Ronald Reagan has made us weaker, and weaker in the eyes of the world. All right. Definitely weaker in the eyes of the world. And it probably started even before Reagan, but Reagan brought it back a little bit, where we had some respect that we lost after Vietnam. So look at where we're at today, and how the military was degraded almost by every president since, and I'm including Bush in there too, but every president since Republican, in both Bushes, even though they fought wars, they didn't fight the wars really the way that I believe if Reagan had a full-scale war would have fought it, or what he actually believed in, or what Rush believed in, too, which is, overwhelming force, overwhelming dominance, and just that the military was to be used to just kill people and break things. That's what it is, until there was full surrender, a full win. And obviously we know Bush didn't do that when he declared, the war won and it wasn't won, and we spent trillions of dollars after that, so much money. Nobody wants that kind of thing. But, we have to remember that the world is still about violence. It's ruled by violence still. And if you show that you are too weak, you will become a target. And we had become a target because there were things that people have done to us by Iran and other countries, but especially Iran, that have done to us. And we just took the hit and turned the other cheek. We didn't respond the way we should have. And so now they think we won't respond. We wouldn't do certain things. And that's really changed since Donald Trump has gotten into office, and especially here in this second term, although I believe he believed this in his first term as well, that that he believes in the way and the conduct of what Rush described, that we really need to have overwhelming force, that we need to have our military be the most fit, the most capable, give them the best weapons, give them the best technology, and take the handcuffs off them. Too many times, especially people in my generation, where we haven't seen the greatness of the American military like the World War II generation did. And I'm not really yeah. And that, who was it that bombed Beirut? Iran. And they didn't pay a price for it. So thanks for that, Bob. Yeah, so I really honestly believe that, that at certain times you got to step up and flex and show who you are. You have to be willing to fight. It isn't, you're not always going to be able to intimidate someone else and get them to back down. And we just don't have that ability right now to intimidate countries and have them back down. And that really does help keep the peace. Whether you want to believe it or not, it does. But that has to come through them actually seeing us do something, seeing us fight, and the way they're seeing us engage, the way we did with Venezuela and the way we handled last summer with the attacks on Iran and their nuclear weapons, and now, going to basically what I call finish the job. And I think that they just wanted to wait for an assessment. And, I think too rosy of a picture was painted. I still believe it was a success, but too rosy of a picture was presented. But really, honestly, what choice did the administration have when you have the other side really opposing every single thing, trashing every single thing you did? And it was a hard mission. It was a hard mission going after those, their nuclear capabilities that were put underground to be protected. And after that, if they continue to do it, and why wouldn't they, that they're going to try even more so to be able to shield those things, to dig deeper, to come up with really a kind of a shield with these drones and these other missiles that they have, and to kind of protect their nuclear arsenal that they wanted to have. And if they got it, they were going to use it. Why wouldn't they? It's what they believed. They believed in wiping Israel off the map. Now, that doesn't mean, I'm not in that camp that believes that, Israel drug us into this war. I do not believe, and you can have a different opinion, but I'm sorry. I think it's absolutely ludicrous to think that President Trump is some kind of puppet of Putin or a puppet of Bibi. He's not. In fact, nobody has stood up to Putin more than Donald Trump has. No one has done that. No one has done more to put sanctions and to try to discourage them. And you have to remember, that kind of gets into the other news this weekend, right? That they're trying to make a big deal of. And I don't know what you thought happened, but why wouldn't it have happened? That Russia was passing along information and advice to Iran, right? And targets and different things. We do that to everybody else all the time, and so did they. And the idea that Iran was an ally of Russia and that Russia didn't provide them any intel, that would be dumb to think, right? So why don't we punish Russia? Why doesn't Russia take a few shots at us? Because we've certainly crossed the line. And what do I mean by that, Troy? What do you mean? What do you mean we crossed the line? I think it's kind of crossing the line when we gave Ukraine certain missiles, and the only way those missiles could be operated with precision, I guess they're able to be operated without precision, but with precision to like hit the target like dead fucking on kind of shit, right? Like pick stuff crazy out, like a hair, and hit that hair 1,000 miles away. That's what I'm talking about, like deadly to the point. The only way for Ukraine to use those missiles was with our assistance. And that means we're helping pick out the targets to attack Russia, and we're helping pull the trigger. We're holding the gun because they couldn't do it. They didn't have the knowledge or know-how. And you can look this up. It's all verifiable. I didn't make this shit up because I don't have to, right? But we did that. How is that not almost a direct attack from us on Russia? And I'm not defending Russia, like Russia's some great country, but like there's certain countries that, again, you fight different battles with different countries in different ways. And we have to handle Russia and China differently than we handle Iran and Venezuela. But the way that Trump has been playing this with Venezuela first and now Iran, you don't think that has to do with putting pressure on Russia, with putting pressure on China to come to the table to, after this is finished in Iran, to really put them in a tougher position when it comes to energy, that say, like, look, how about we work this out so we all have the energy we need so we can make our countries more prosperous and get the best deal that we can for the United States. And of course, they're going to try to get the best deal for their countries. But the better deal is when there is actually true peace. Now, look, there's not going to be true and everlasting peace until Jesus Christ comes. Okay, I'm a Christian. I believe that. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe that this should be attempted, that there should be like an effort made here. And Trump is the one that's made the effort here. Okay, we got these people screaming on the left, okay, about some long protracted war and money and dollars. You were the motherfuckers, and some Republicans too, okay, that started all this shit and supported this shit with Ukraine, which I have not been supportive of at all. And the idea that you expect Russia to give back land that they took back when Obama was president, that ain't gonna happen. It's just not. All right, so that's like a no-brainer. It's a no-starter, and millions and millions and ultimately billions and trillions of dollars being spent on this war that's basically cost both sides deeply, both sides very, very deeply. And I don't know what there's to gain from this for either one of those countries. That to me, again, Ukraine has been just a corrupt country and still is a corrupt country. And Biden was a part of that corruption, and everybody was okay with that. But we have we're and tens of thousands of people killed on both sides, tens of thousands. Go to Iran, where they killed 30,000 of their own people who were protesting. Okay. And it's very sad that, that there is any loss of life of the U.S. military, but this is what they signed up for. And I totally love, honor, and respect these people for signing up for this. They volunteered. These people were not drafted. Okay, this is not the 60s. It's not the 60s. It's just not. It's not that long ago, all right, where things were different and people were made to fight in wars that they didn't believe in. And anything can happen at any time and under any president, and you have to know if you serve. Just because you sign up under a Republican president, it doesn't mean that you do or it doesn't mean that you're doing that, signing up and thinking you're going to go to war. Same with signing up under a Democrat. You don't know what's going to happen. And I know very patriotic men who signed up for the military even when Biden was president, although he had a tough time recruiting people because there were people that just didn't want to join under him. But those people that had signed up under Trump's first term and were still in the military when Biden took over, they were there to do their job. They were there to do what was asked of them by their commander-in-chief, and that is how it should be. And I have nothing but respect for them, and that doesn't mean I have respect for every person that's served. There's lots of liberal people who served in the military that I think are pieces of shit. Okay, I just do. So, it doesn't make someone better than us, but I will acknowledge, somebody's contribution and what they were willing to do. It just surprises me when I come across a liberal veteran, so to speak, right? It depends on age and era and that kind of stuff. So you can, again, I get it that the liberal veterans the veterans that are liberal, again, that were maybe in the Vietnam era, so they're much older, and they were ones made to fight because they were drafted and they just didn't believe in it. I totally get that, but that's not the case here. There's not going to be a draft. People bring up stupid shit like that, but they signed up for this, but what are we going to do? This is unbelievable how this is being reported, and how wars have been reported has changed over the last 10, 15 years. But this right now is some crazy ass shit. We are analyzing every little rocket fight, every shot to any country, any little movement is being, Monday morning quarterbacked by everybody. By every Tom, Dick, and Harry that listens to podcasts, every Tom, Dick, and Harry that listens to CNN or MSNBC or whatever the fuck it's called now since they changed their name, whatever. Everything, politicians, every politician has an opinion, and people are expressing their opinions in real time about what's going on. That, to this extent today, has never been done before. And to navigate that and to create, some type of unity or getting people behind a cause, that's something that they're supposed to do. That is something that a president's supposed to do, is, kind of rally the people, bring people together. And I think they're trying to do that. Certainly, a lot of people don't think they're doing a good job of that. Other people think they're doing fine. It just depends on which side that you're on. And that's the thing here, too, that I wanted to get to today, was Democrats have excluded themselves. Flat out, Democrats have excluded themselves. And I don't know why they think they should be included in these decisions and things that are being done, because everything this president has done, every little thing, every big thing, every single thing, they have opposed. There is not one thing that this president has done that they've been able to get behind. Not at least getting to a number of over 3 or 4 maybe people. That's really not bipartisanship when there's a vote along pretty much along party lines and you get 4 members of the other party and you give up one of your own, which is what happens too. Yeah. Why would Trump give you this information or go over this with you beforehand, letting you know after or right before, as he was supposed to do, and he did with the Gang of 8 and contacting them? And I'm really over this whole illegal shit. Republicans probably said it too in the past, on what Obama did, but every one of these presidents has sent and had some type of, confrontation like this where they've sent missiles and targeted another country. It might be a few days, might be longer. I think, I don't remember how long it was with Obama and Syria, but it did get past the 60 or 90 days that at that point it was supposed to be approved by Congress. They did go past that without getting the approval. All right. And again, what if you're in this and you're this far away from winning, and they want to vote, and the Democrats are going to oppose it for sure because they don't know how to take a win. They don't know how to be on the winning side. If you listen to listen to some different sources, listen to some different people speak on Iran's behalf, their media people, their spokespeople for their country, for their regime, and what they're basically saying and what they're doing. They have no remorse at all for killing those 30,000, mostly young adults who were protesting. And their message has been pretty much to the parents, don't let your kids out to do this dumb shit and they'll stay alive. But if you do let them out and do this dumb shit, we're going to kill them. That's literally, there's no people on the face of this earth that are more cutthroat and bloodthirsty than this Iranian regime. And it's not the people. It's not the people. Okay, I can separate the people from the leadership of the country, right? I can separate that. And that, what else made me think of that is Dawn and I have been watching the F1 series, Formula One. And we started at the beginning. We're on season 5 now. And in the season that we just started, there was a Russian driver who, goes back to around the start of the Ukraine war, or back in 2022. He was fired by the team that he raced for, solely for the reason that he was Russian. Not that he spoke out in a certain way or anything like that, but solely because he was Russian. And look at what we've done, with the Olympics, that, they can compete, but they can't compete under the Russian flag, which is a conversation my daughter and I had, and it's just bullshit. It's just bullshit to punish these athletes or to punish drivers over something that's not in their control and not give them the opportunities that they've worked for and dreamed about. I'm sorry, I'm not in that camp that says fuck all Russians. Because again, I think it's separate when you're talking about the people who just are they really different than you and I? Are they really that much different? They may have different lifestyles. They may be boring lifestyles. I don't know. I've never been there. But and they may be difficult. Seems like, life for a lot of people wouldn't be that rosy in Russia. But again, I don't know. I don't have firsthand knowledge of that. I've never been there, but I would expect just the certain human instincts that everyone has, that you just want your family. You just want to take care of your family. You want to be able to provide for them. You want to be able to buy some nice things. You want to have some enjoyable moments. So you might go to an event or, take your wife to a symphony or whatever the fuck you do. I don't know. But is that much different than us? Is that really that much different than us? Than you just want to take care of your family? That's what I that's why I feel for the people, and I don't think the people should be punished, really. And I think it would be crazy to walk away from this situation that's been brewing for 47 years. So why now? Because we are so much more at a place now where things are moving so fastly because of AI that it really literally changes the game. And as close as Iran has been before in having a nuclear weapon, and their unwillingness to give up that desire and just live and just try to just live with the rest of the world. That leadership is not what that's about. That leadership is about extreme Islamists. It's extreme Islam. It's very extreme. And 90%, of people who practice Islam are not like this. But that 10%, when you take 10% of a few billion people, guess what happens? It's a pretty big number. It's a pretty big number of extremists. And even though the extremists are outnumbered in Iran by people who don't believe like that, they have the control. They have the control. And the people, how do you fight back if you don't have guns? They don't have guns. Iranian citizens don't have guns. Okay, they can't go to a gun shop and arm themselves like you and I can. It's a totally different world. All right? Totally different. But I don't want to see us abandon these people, whether or not regime change is an objective or not. I do think, the goal is to degrade the current Iranian regime to the point where its capabilities are really at zero. And then again, allow for defections, allowing people to, come out and, leave the Iranian Guard and such. And I think that we're getting more and more to that point. And when that happens, then we're going to see that they have the ability then to take control of their own country. I'm not into nation building, but that doesn't mean I'm not into taking certain people out that were our greatest enemy. And again, it's Iran has used all these different proxy groups. They've used Houthis, they've used Hamas, they've used multiple groups that they fund and give money to. And you remember, some of that money came from Obama releasing Iran's own. See, we had some of Iran's money, and we kept it. And I think maybe it was ruled by an international court that it wasn't legal for us to do so. But who the fuck cares? Fuck off. We're keeping your money. Nope. Obama decided it was a good idea to load up planes full of cash and give it back to him. And so he did. And what was that money used for? That money was literally used to target American citizens around the world, to target Israeli citizens around the world and in Israel, to just target them and to contribute their push for more and more control, to fund the nuclear ambitions that they had. And we literally gave them money that, yes, it was their money. No, we should have never given it back, and just tell them to fuck off. And that's just how it is. Hey, yeah, you could think it's MAGA propaganda or not. I don't really give a shit what you think, H.D. Berg. It's I've lived this. Okay, and you all don't seem to be able to fucking find your ass with both hands. That's it. Okay, yeah, there's always propaganda, always. But what is true and what is not true? You know what? I just make it real simple, dude. Fuck off. How about that? We really don't care. of what you people who lost. I'm not going to cry. You're the one who's a little bitch. You came on my page running your mouth. I'm fine. I'm in Nashville. All right. I'm having a great time. I'm having a nice flight home. You know, I'm in the 1% or the bottom of the 1%. I'm not crying, and I'm not crying more. I'm just sticking up and sharing my opinion here. And you know what you don't do? You don't do that because you're a little fucking bitch and you don't have the ability to like express yourself in like a real way or in an adult way. You're just like a little fucking bitch kid. But that's it. Yeah, it is funny. Bottom of the 1% is funny. But that's a lot better than you're doing, my friend. It is a thing. So going back to this, like, yeah, I just fire back at people when they're just fucking stupid because I don't give how pissy I'm getting. Why? Because I push back? You think I just take shit? Dude, if we were face to face, which none of you bitches are ever willing to do, that we would fucking smack the shit out of you. It's not about feelings. It's about respect. That's what it's about. I'm not sensitive, and I'm not in my feelings. It's all shit you guys make up. Because I promise you, I don't give a shit about my own feelings. So I sure don't need that or give a fuck about yours. Back up where, bitch? In real life, I would fuck your shit up. That's how that would work. I wouldn't tolerate it one bit face to face, and you'd never talk to me like that face to face because you'd get knocked down. I'm not stuttering. You don't hear well? Go listen to the whole thing. I don't have a stutter. We'd knock the fuck out of you little bitches. Because that's all you are. You guys have no balls. You just oppose everything. You're not patriots. You don't love this country. You just hate, and you just hate because you're mad. You're just mad because you don't have a good life and you want to blame someone else for all of your problems and for your situation of where you're at and why you're struggling. You motherfucker are struggling because of you. You are struggling because you don't do enough. You know, you don't have to have a degree. You can do as well as you want to do if you want to, but you don't want to. You don't want to. You just want to be a little crying little bitch about, oh, the Trump is the maggots, and they're so baby, yes. Yeah. Yeah, the crybaby's you, bitch. We won. We're not crying every day. Trump is living rent-free inside your motherfucking head. And we love it every single day. And we do not regret our vote. We love our vote. And you're like commenting on here because you got like no life. If you had a life, you wouldn't. You don't know who we are, motherfucker? Oh my God, so crazy. But just to kind of go back, yeah, the Democrats oppose everything. They're not going to be included. That's not how it works. You're not going to be included in decisions when you oppose every single thing. You're not going to be brought to the table. I think it would be a good idea, though, for Trump too. Some of the people that have been willing to support him in some areas across the aisle, that to kind of bring them in to show his willingness to work with the other side and to include them, but not include the parties per se, the other party per se, but include specific individuals that are at least not being crazy, you know. And as wild as that sounds, that's people like John Fetterman. You know, and then they eat their own. They attack John Fetterman because he doesn't agree 100% with the Democratic Party platform and what and he thinks they should stand for something instead of just opposing everything. And who knew he was going to be the voice of reason? I certainly didn't think that, but he's certainly been that, and someone that, you know, you could have a conversation with. Which you can't have conversations. Look at this, you know, just look in the comments here. You can't have a conversation with these people. They're not capable of it. Their maturity level is so fucking low. They're just not able to do it. They're so mad about their own personal life and where they're at, and they don't want to take responsibility. So they point the finger at others. They point the finger at the 1%. They point the finger at the billionaires, like the billionaires are taking money out of their pocket. The only way for billionaires to to take money out of your pocket is for you to give it to them because you're buying whatever product or service or whatever it is that they want. And what you're also mad about is you don't have the money to buy those products and services. My feelings are not hurt, dude. You're just literally making shit up. Why don't you not make shit up? Just pick on me for something that's legit. Say you don't like my tattoos. Say do something like that. Read a book. Dude, what was the last book you read? What was the last book you read? Unbelievable. Just demonstrating exactly what I'm talking about in here. And everybody that reads this in the future as they see the video today and take it in, they're just gonna yep, that's who they are. And when they show us who they are, you read the Bible? Dude, I do not believe you read the Bible. Seriously, there's no fucking way you read the Bible. Don't believe it. Nor do I believe you're a Christian. None of you are. But you all like to quote to Christians about what Christians should do, what Christians should think, right? Which is just total bullshit. We don't care. We do not fucking care. So you haven't seen many Christians like me because I'm not a hypocrite. I don't pretend to be perfect or that my whole life was perfect and, I found God and everything was perfect and just went my way and oh my God. No, I don't do that. I don't. They won't hear me stutter because I don't stutter. I'm the least fucking hypocrite of anybody you'll ever know. Because I put everything out there, not something you're willing to do. If I went to your page or one of your social media pages, it's not going to be public. All of my social media is public. All of it. And it always has been. You don't even have to be a friend. I don't have to accept a friend request. Anybody can see my social media anytime they want because I put it all out there because I'm not afraid. I am who I am. I've made the mistakes that I've made. I've owned my mistakes. I've moved forward. People follow me because I've picked myself up after being successful and then losing it all and then struggling and then do it again. That's why they do that. No, you don't even know what the harder for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle even means. You don't even know what that means. You don't even know what. Look up that verse. Just chat GPT it. That'll educate you on what needles, what that actually meant for somebody going through and how the camels had to get down and go through there. You know what? If I'm such a loser, you would want to be me because I'm doing so much better than you. And you're here. So if no one's here and I'm a loser, then you just came to watch a loser because you're bored. I'm not going away, man. I've done a shit ton of podcasts in over a year and a half and going on 2 years now. And we do 3 a week and we'll continue to do more. Yeah. You would want my life, dude, because my life is better than yours. Everything about my life is better than yours. That's why you're mad. And we're happy people. That's what it is. You guys just demonstrate every day how much you can't handle it. What else you got? Yeah, I do say we. What's wrong with we? We are MAGA. We were MAGA before Trump was MAGA. He just happened to get out in front and kind of put a label on it. But MAGA's been here since Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan used Make America Great Again. You know who else used Make America Great Again, you dumb fuck? Do you know? Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton used Make America Great Again. It's not a bad thing to want the best for our country and to put our country first and our people first, which is what I want. I actually want your dumb fucking ass to do well. Okay? I want you to do better than you want yourself to do better. It doesn't exactly work when that happens. You have to want it for yourself, but I actually want good things for you. I want you to have a good life and to be able to have the things to take care of your family, take care of yourself, and enjoy your children, grandchildren. I want that. You don't want it because first you don't want to own the process of what it takes to do that. You don't want the responsibility that takes to be able to do that. You don't want to bear that and say, you know what? That's on me. That's on me. I need to do this. I need to own what's happened to me. You are not a victim of your circumstances. That's not a thing, okay? It's how you respond to your circumstances, and that's what you're responsible for, and you don't want to take responsibility for it. So you attack people that promote that. All the time. That's your game. You attack the people that really want you to do well. But you just don't want to do what you have to do to do that. And you, motherfucker, don't know what I've done. You don't know my story. You just came on here going blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that was you. That's not me. You could have had a conversation, but you chose not to because you're an idiot. Yeah, I'm a maggot. I'm deplorable. I'm all those fucking things. I'm in a cult. All those things. I'm a white supremacist. I'm a Nazi. Throw them all out there. What other ones can we have? What didn't I name? What didn't I name? I support pedophiles. What else? Come on, let's throw them all out there. I'm all of those things. And I care that you say that. How? Because, you say it hasn't affected my life one bit. None of you have. And I've been able to go on and do my thing and do it successfully. And I continue to do that. And I continue to build. I continue to do new things. You know what I'm doing right now? Do you know fucking how hard this is? Do you know how hard it is to do this? Yeah. I'm a bigot. I'm a racist. What else? Dude, do you not understand what crying is? I'm not crying. I'm not upset. You just are so stupid to keep saying shit that just isn't fucking true. Come up with something real. All you've come up with is the same shit that you stupid motherfuckers have said over 10 years. What your words do not mean anything. Actions are what matters. See, that's what you fuckers don't understand. And Democrats haven't understood for a long time. Words do not matter, okay? Actions do. I go by how people act and what their actions are and how they treat me, not by what they say they're going to do, because that's bullshit. Yeah, see, now you admit you aren't doing shit, and you just think I'm not doing shit either. Well, dude, check it out, because my shit's real. My shit's real. The nice home I live in, that's a brand new build, is real. The 3 cars we have and motorcycle I have, all real, all new vehicles. I tip more than what you spend on a good dinner. I tip more than what you spend on a good dinner. My tips are $100 to $300. That's the tips for the meals. You ain't dropping every weekend, $500 to $1,000 eating out every weekend. Okay? You're not a member of 4 gyms. You don't get up in the morning and get to go to the gym or whenever you want. You don't live in a state that has over 300 days of sunshine. Yeah, it is pretty cool, motherfucker. It's very fucking cool. I go to games. We just went to a game on Friday night. I've been to the national championship game the last 2 years. All the other bunch of other bowl games that were in Phoenix area. The Rose Bowl when Michigan was playing Alabama. We have season tickets and support women's basketball. I've just been to a couple of training baseball, the training leagues, Cactus League games already, and I'll go home and go to a few more before the season starts. I love sports. My girl loves sports. We travel to see teams. We were just in Miami, hanging out with a friend when we also went to the game, against Indiana and Miami. Did that. We're going to travel to Ohio to see my dad. I'm in Nashville to see my daughter and grandbaby. We're going to go to Hawaii this year. Yeah, it's all pretty cool shit, dude. It's pretty cool shit. And you probably will be lucky to go on one vacation a year. If that. You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. So I am doing shit. You're the one not doing shit. How's that? In fact, I'm getting paid while I sit here, dude. Arguing with the fucking numbskull. Anyways, that was fun. So one other thing I wanted to touch on today was this thing about Tucker Carlson and that Trump kicked Tucker Carlson out of MAGA. I don't, like anybody, I do not follow or believe 100% of what everyone says or does. I like some of the things that Tucker covers. I like some of the interviews that he does and the people he interviews and those discussions. I think you can learn a lot from those discussions and learning from the people that he has on. I do not believe he's an anti-Semite. He has a different opinion of what's going on right now, and he has a right to that opinion, and it's not an opinion I agree with, but it is something that I will fight for his right to be able to say that. We do not want to be like Democrats. We do not want to have these litmus tests. I think these litmus tests are bullshit, and that if you don't fall in line in a certain way on Israel here, then you're not MAGA, you're not conservative, and that's just bullshit. That's not who we are. That is not who MAGA is. And again, we were MAGA first. We wanted this country to be great again and see that this is the greatest country on earth and that we have the greatest possibilities with this country that you don't have in any other country. Because if some other country was that much better, people would be flocking to it, and they're not. They're not flocking to it. They come here from all over the world because this is the best place to just put your head down, shut the fuck up, and make shit work for you. And just go about your business. There are going to be struggles. There are going to be hurdles, but you'll be able to meet it. You will be able to do that. You will be able to fight through that stuff if you want to. If you not just want to. There's a difference. You got to want it with every fucking breath you take, and then you can get through those things because there's going to be hard times whenever you're doing something. That's just how it works. And for me, I share that and the things I've been through just so people know that, yeah, it's possible and you can do it too. If I've done it, you can do it. I'm not Elon Musk. I'm, not a verified genius, but I'm pretty smart guy. I'm somebody that has a lot of common sense, and I know how to figure shit out, and I know how to not quit and just keep going and learn that whatever I did that just didn't work, to not do that again, to try something else and to keep trying other things. But it's mainly that perseverance that has gotten me where I'm at. My perseverance, my willingness to just keep going no matter what, and then eventually get there. And maybe it takes me longer than it takes some other people, but some people, a great number of people, never get there at all and give up way too fucking early. And I just don't believe in giving up. I just don't. So I was MAGA, Tucker's MAGA. Trump doesn't get to decide who's MAGA or not, okay? I love and support the president, but he doesn't get to decide who's MAGA. Nobody's going to tell me I'm MAGA or I'm not MAGA. I say that I am, and I have been. And I wear MAGA hats proudly. I wear them proudly, and will continue to. And I'll continue to after the president is gone. And when this idiot was like wondering who we is, I can tell you who we is because I get comments on my hat everywhere I go. And a lot of women too, of all ages, walking by me, they're like, love the hat. Every time I wear it, every time I'm out, we know who we are. We know what we stand for, and that we stand for the best. And we don't always have all the answers. Not everybody, we don't know what the answers are to what's going on right now, to be honest. We don't know. We have a vision and a way forward, and we can go towards that. And then we have to make adjustments as we go to meet the goal, but see what works, to stop doing what's not working. And if something is working, to do more of it. That's how you do it. And I trust in the president to be able to do this until I don't trust him, which, like that he absolutely fails, I'm not going to cry about, we're going to be in another forever ending war like people like this guy are crying or Democrats are crying about. Not at all. We will keep going. If something like that were to happen and things would change, and it's changing into what happened in Iraq, what happened in Afghanistan, and where we're setting up tents and we're bringing people in, and we are being targeted at and being had IEDs planted in the road and just trying to take over a country like that. If that happens, then we can deal with that then. But I don't believe that that's what's going to happen. But would Trump lose me and a lot of people in that instance? Yes. But to be talking about that now is just dumb for Republicans to do. It's just dumb for Republicans to do. You don't get peace without winning the war, and winning the war 100%. You have to do the 100%. And if you want more of that, check out my X page. I did post it on there. I did post it on my Facebook as well, so you can comment there. I do, want to hear what your opinions are on this and how you guys are feeling. So please chime in on that. But the best ways to contact me are on the other social media stuff. And, do the best you can do. Keep your head down. Focus on you. Focus on your family today. Focus on your family this week. Do the stuff you need to do. And, take this information in, just like we need to do, and process it. And be smart. Form your opinions. Be open to new information. And be willing to adapt. And let's make America great again. That's what we need to do. That's what I'm about. That's what I'm for. And that's all for today. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy. Have a great one.